Crystal Hennessy, and the historical figure that I've chosen to speak about is psychologist William James. William James was a leading philosopher and psychologist at the turn of the 19th century and was instrumental in establishing psychology in the United States. He was born in New York City, New York on January 11, 1862. Not in ideal health, when he was 20 years old, he enlisted to fight in the American Civil War. This was very short-lived due to his poor health. James then moved to enroll into Lawrence Scientific School at Harvard University. He originally wanted to grow up to become a painter, so enrolling in this school was quite the bold move. 2 years later, he entered Harvard's medical school in 1863 after studying chemistry and physiology. Although his education was interrupted by a series of stints of illnesses and depression, William James graduated Harvard with a Doctor of Medicine in 1869. All of James' work did pay off. He eventually received a job as a Harvard psychology professor, which he excelled in for over 25 years of his life. Like other scientists in the 19th century who were evolutionists, James was fascinated by the idea that different species had evolved over time rather than being created that way. He stressed the importance of adaptation to environmental challenges. James was known as an intense, enthusiastic teacher and often changed subject matter of his classes as his own interests changed. During his career as a teacher, William James wrote what became the leading psychology textbook, titled Principles of Psychology. This 1,400-page textbook covered topics such as brain function, habit, memory, sensations, perception, and emotion. He also discussed the concept of free will, which played an essential role in his theory of happiness. James believed that happiness consists of orienting yourself to a higher purpose, even if that purpose cannot be rationally proven to exist. His ideas became the foundation of an early school of psychology called functionalism, which stressed studying the adaptive and practical functions of human behavior. He proposed that people were primarily driven by instincts and created a list of those human instincts. This list included suspicion, love, shame, and curiosity, just to name a few. James quoted that no other mammal, not even the monkey, shows so large an array of instincts as humans. Now, what I personally found to be the most profound of all of William James' accomplishments was the development of the James Lange theory of emotion. We have experiences, and as a result, our autonomic nervous system creates physiological events such as muscular tension, heart rate increases, perspiration, dryness of mouth, etc. This theory proposes that emotions happen because of these, rather than being the cause of them. Thus, stating that in 3 steps, the first experience, a stimulus, and an example would be a shadowy figure of a man in a parking lot that when you're walking to your car by yourself at night. Second, you would experience physiological arousal and behavioral changes, such as increased heart rate, trembling, or sweaty palms. Lastly, you become subjective to the experiences of emotion. In this example, fear. A quote by William James from 1894 reads, "Common sense says we lose our fortune, are sorry and weep. We meet a bear, are frightened and run. We are insulted by a rival, are angry and strike." The hypothesis here to be defended says that this order in sequences is incorrect, that the one mental state is not immediately induced by the other. It is that we feel sorry because we cry, angry because we strike, afraid because we tremble. James profoundly influenced psychology through his students as well, many of whom became prominent psychologists themselves. One of his most notable students being G. Stanley Hall, who founded the first psychology research laboratory in the United States at Johns Hopkins University in 1883. William James' contribution to American psychology has left an immense impression on today's psychology as we know it, as well as the education world.